Cops bully black woman on the street minutes later. She walks into the station as their boss. The air crackled with injustice as Maya Jackson stood on the corner of 7th and Elm, her breath catching in her throat. Two officers, badges glinting under the streetlight, had her pinned not physically, but with words sharp as knives, slicing through her dignity. "What you doing out here, huh?" Officer Daniels sneered, his voice thick with contempt. "You don't belong in this neighborhood." His partner, Officer Reed, smirked, leaning closer, his hand resting on his holster. The crowd gathering nearby shifted uneasily, their whispers a low hum against the city's pulse. Maya, a black woman in her late 30s, felt the weight of every eye on her, but she didn't flinch. She couldn't afford to. "I'm walking home," she said, her voice steady, though her heart pounded like a war drum. She clutched her briefcase, her fingers tightening around the leather handle. Inside were the documents that would change everything, but they didn't know that yet. Daniels laughed, a cruel bark. "Home? You sure you ain't lost? People like you don't just walk around here." The words stung, each one a deliberate cut, meant to degrade, to reduce her to nothing. Maya's jaw clenched. She'd faced this before countless times, in fact, but today, the sting felt sharper, the wound deeper. She wasn't just a woman on the street. She was a symbol of everything they feared. The crowd grew thicker, phones raised, capturing the scene. A teenage girl in the back whispered to her friend, "This ain't right." Maya caught her eye, a flicker of solidarity passing between them. But the officers pressed closer, their voices rising, their accusations growing wilder. "You got ID? Or are you going to make this hard?" Reed snapped, his hand twitching toward his cuffs. Maya's pulse raced, but her face remained a mask of calm. She reached into her coat pocket, slow and deliberate, pulling out her wallet. "Here," she said, handing over her ID. Daniel snatched it, his eyes scanning it with a scowl. "Maya Jackson," he muttered, as if the name itself was a crime. He tossed it back, letting it fall to the ground. "Pick it up," he ordered. The crowd gasped. A man in a worn jacket stepped forward, then hesitated, fear holding him back. Maya bent down, her movements graceful but heavy with purpose. As she rose, her eyes locked with Daniel's, and for a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. "You'll regret this," she said softly, her voice carrying a weight that made Reed's smirk falter. Without another word, Maya turned and walked away, her heels clicking against the pavement. The officers shouted after her, but she didn't look back. The crowd parted, their murmurs now a chorus of awe and anger. She wasn't running. She wasn't broken. She was headed somewhere they couldn't imagine. Minutes later, Maya pushed open the glass doors of the 7th Precinct, the same station where Daniels and Reed worked their shifts. The lobby fell silent as she stepped inside, her presence commanding the room. Officers at their desks froze, their coffee cups halfway to their lips. The desk sergeant stammered, "Ma'am, can I?" "Captain Jackson," she corrected, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. She pulled her badge from her briefcase, the gold shield gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "I'm your new commanding officer." The room seemed to shrink, the air growing thick with disbelief. Daniels and Reed, just entering from the back, stopped dead in their tracks. Their faces drained of color, their bravado crumbling like ash. Maya's gaze swept over them, unflinching, her eyes holding a fire that could burn through steel. "I saw what you did out there," she said, her voice low but resonant, addressing the entire room. "And I know it's not just you two. This precinct has a problem I'm here to fix." She stepped forward, her presence filling the space. "You don't get to choose who belongs. Not on my watch." The officers shifted uncomfortably, some looking away, others meeting her gaze with a mix of shame and respect. Daniels opened his mouth, but no words came. Reed's hands fidgeted at his sides, his earlier arrogance gone. Maya's heart still raced, but now it was fueled by purpose. She'd spent years climbing through a system that tried to break her, facing slurs, sidelong glances, and doors slammed in her face. She'd earned her rank through grit and brilliance, but she knew this moment wasn't just about her. It was about the teenage girl in the crowd, the man who'd wanted to step forward, the countless others who'd felt the sting of those same words, those same looks. "Change starts now," she said, her voice rising. "You will treat every person, every single one with dignity. or you'll answer to me." She paused, letting her words sink in. Dismissed. As the officers dispersed, some whispering, others silent, Maya stood alone at the front of the room. She thought of her mother, who'd cleaned houses to put her through school, and her brother, who'd never made it home from a routine stop. This wasn't just a job. It was a reckoning. Outside, the city hummed on, oblivious to the shift that had just begun. But inside the precinct, the air felt different, charged with the promise of justice, fragile but real. Maya Jackson, the woman they tried to break, was now the one holding the reins. And she would not let go. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.